Microphone check, microphone check, microphone check. 1, 2, what is this? All right. Peace. Yo, thank you. First of all, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for checking out this series. Welcome back to another episode of What is the Love Above? First of all, I want to give a special thank you and shout out to Jesse Del Queens from Southern Crops. He has engineered, recorded not only songs for me, from The Soul Divine to Superfly Returns. He's also worked with a myriad of artists and creatives all throughout the Dallas Metroplex. And man, he really pushed me forward in terms of just getting this album completed, especially this side of the album. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you, bro. So I just wanted to formally say thank you. I genuinely think that us as creatives got to shout each other out. We have to make sure people understand who is behind the scenes working and making sure we get to the points that we have gotten to in order for us to continue going. So once again, thank you, Jesse. I also want to give a special shout out to Robert Moore. He gave me a call the other day and was like, bro, keep going. So thank you, brother. From one creative to another, that means a lot to me because you don't know who's watching or who's going to encourage us to continue going towards our dreams in order to reach whatever destination we're trying to reach. And right now with this series, not only am I covering my songs, the samples, and the people that helped me achieve this, but I also want to give a thank you to the people that encourage me to continue going. Shout out to my boy Carlos. My boy Carlos at work, we were talking the other day, literally yesterday, about, just seeing the passion in somebody that believes in what they're doing, believes in their art, believes in themselves. And when you see somebody passionate, you should push them forward. Whether you're creative or not, if you feel it in your heart, like, yo, they're doing something different or something cool or something that resonates within me, what does it cost you to just say, yo, keep going? I like what you're doing, keep going. I'm a firm believer in that, and collectively as artists, we're up against machines now. In 2025, with the rise of AI, with the rise of e-commerce sites taking over the country and putting small businesses basically out of business, small artists out of, the loop of the algorithm, because the algorithm is bought now. So the people with the most money typically will get the most shine. And so from labels to other big industries that have millions of dollars versus people like myself who don't, we get outshined typically because the monopoly board is already paid for. And you'll start to see that more and more often. There will be a rise of plastic, fake, manufactured, and AI-driven content versus real people like myself and others who show up in front of these cameras to do what I'm doing right now. And so I got to push forward for not only myself, but also for every single one of you that eat off of what you do. So moving forward, let's get into the next song for this series that I wanted to cover. And honestly, I freestyle this every time. One, because it's a one shot. Two, because I want it to be organic. I want it to be real and authentic. So I just recently dropped The Love Above Side B. Applause. Just recently dropped The Love Above Side B. And basically, I wanted to drop this album in parts. Side A dropped earlier this year in the spring. Side B, I wanted to save for the winter/spring. Originally, I'm from New York, but I've lived in Chicago, Illinois. I've lived in Jeffersonville, Indiana. I've lived in Elgin, Illinois as well. Shout out to my homies in Elgin. I've also lived in West Hollywood for a couple months. Shout out my boy Tommy Tsunami. And now I'm living in Dallas, Texas. And so we just got our first cold front, literally like within the past week. And it's crazy because I love Texas. I love Texas so much for so many reasons, from the food to the art, to the culture, to the history, to the people, the ladies. I love Texas. But yeah, man, it's one of those places where we kind of get spoiled with good weather. And then around this time it drops, and next thing you know, it's cold and everybody's bundled up. And so I wanted to talk about this is why I released Side B around this time, because I knew a lot of people would be indoors. I knew a lot of people would want to kind of like, insulate themselves. And music carries people through sometimes the hardest times in their life and sometimes the best times of their life. That's why when you hear certain songs, it takes you to a time period where it was like, oh my gosh, I remember the first time I heard this song. And it has an interesting effect on the brain where it brings you back. It's nostalgia to a certain degree. If it's a good song, it don't matter if you're listening to it now or if you're listening to it 20 years from now, you'll be like, man, I remember the first time I heard that song and it was incredible. I was in so-and-so and so-and-so, and I was talking to my Uncle Stacy recently during a Thanksgiving dinner that I hosted at my place. And he was talking about all the different like time periods where he went to a live show, and in the 90s and in early, even sure, I think even 80s, dude, he had a picture of seeing Prince live. And I was just like blown away, And man, I wanted to talk about, not only, I'm sorry if I'm long-winded, but this episode is really important to me. And just to give more context, as I said before, I want to make sure that you guys understand why I'm even talking about all this. So with The Love Above, let's just get back on track. The Love Above Side B is out on all streaming platforms right now. So check that out. Flying Nimbus, FLYINGNYMBUS. The Love Above Side B. Throughout the whole album, I have sampled live bands and artists from multiple decades, multiple generations. And this next artist, which I will be displaying right now, is who I sampled for There's a Halo Above Your Head. This song means a lot to me because it actually, believe it or not, I wrote it to inspire another generation after mine. I'm 34 years old. So my music and my target audience is really the younger generation and the older generation, but mainly the younger generation, because you guys are going to be the ones that carry the flag and basically plant seeds into the world and hopefully make it a better place in the future. This is for the future doctors, the future architects, the future engineers, the future farmers, because we're going to need a lot more of y'all in the world. we're going to need a lot more people that understand how to create real food for real people in the future when AI takes a lot more jobs away. So my messaging in the song, there's a halo above your head, which also, if you Google Nimbus, Nimbus, it has multiple meanings. Not only is it a cloud formation, but in another language, it's actually a halo. That's why I like using certain symbology to resonate with me. Along with it being a halo, I've sampled artists that are no longer here on this planet. And utilizing their instruments is like utilizing an angel's instruments, if that makes sense to you. So, for instance, certain artists like the one that I have sampled today is no longer here. I wanted to utilize their instruments to convey a message to the future. So that way, not only can they go back and listen to that artist, but also they can get an understanding of what I'm trying to do. So let me break down the lyrics for you. This is for the soul steppers, spinning both records, back-to-back classic samples so extra. Had to bring back the classic soul texture. Vinyl cracking in the track with the raps clever. My roots from rap's mecca. Woo, way I sever. Songs of ancestors. Need more professors. And not just for lectures. If we learned how to live off the land, it'd be better. The price of food is way too high for this weather. We need to plant better. Seeds and more extra. Crops and get bees. Best believe what the kids really need is more nectar. Feed the body right and the soul receives pleasure. Pour into yourself and watch the leaves turn green. The grass on the other side ain't always what it seems. Never know what life is like for those behind these screens. You gotta look beyond the surface when it comes to me. And man, that basically spells out the whole message behind that song. Sometimes you don't need to say a lot when you have a song that is palatable, or when you have a song that has a message behind it. One verse, I let the chorus and the sample be the hook / bridge. And so that's the reason why it's so short. For one, shout outs to that artist yet again. But two, shout outs to my grandmother. My grandmother, Joycelyn Coleman, she used to pick me up back in the day. From school, she was a bus driver at TARC in Louisville, Kentucky. TARC is the company that uses, that is the bus company, basically for transportation. Just like in Dallas, y'all have the DART. In Louisville, Kentucky, we have TARC. And so whenever she would pick me up, or sometimes I would ride with her to church, she would always play soul music. And I loved listening to it. So she put me on to Stevie Wonder and Frankie Beverly and Mays and the Gap Band and the OJs. And it was interesting because it resonated with my soul at a very young age. And I'm talking about elementary school. My grandmother lived across the street from my mom at the period of time when we were living in Louisville. And so it was really cool being able to get raised by her. She's also the person that taught me how to drive my grandfather's truck. My grandfather, Harry, who also is in heaven right now. And, when it comes to music, I do a lot of it, not only just because it feels good and it's an outlet for me to channel my energy in a positive way, but I also do it as an ode to the people that put me onto music. My mom, my dad, in different ways, everybody shared music with me throughout life. And man, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be exposed to all of these different artists and know about my grandmother. When she passed, I remember listening to Ribbons in the Sky by Stevie Wonder. And every time I hear that song, I almost cry, like almost every time, because it just, I visualize her when I hear it. And man, our ancestors are the reason why we're here. Our ancestors are the reason why we do family traditions, why we host Thanksgiving at our homes, because they taught us at a very, very young age, this is what family looks like. And so, sorry, I'm getting a little teared up just thinking about it now. But yeah, man, there's a halo above your head. It's for all the people that came before me and all the people that will come after me. And I hope that at some point in time, we recognize the things that are important to us in life, and we not be so self-absorbed, and we make a difference in this world while we are on the planet. I hope that when you watch this episode and you see me and you understand and you listen and you understand the person behind the music, the person behind the camera, you see, or not only me, but you also see a reflection of yourself and the things that you need to do in this planet to make it a better place. Nobody knows when their time is coming, but we all have a date. We all have a time where, we got to transcend into the next world or the next life or the next whatever is after this. And while you're here, just make sure you do what you need to do in order to make life better for the next generation. You leave your mark in a positive way. You treat people correctly, how they should be treated. Hopefully impart information onto others that will help the next person, and hopefully this world will become a better place. Man, lately dealing with sobriety is interesting because I go through so much internally, and sometimes it just comes out at the randomest times. And there's nothing wrong with tears. There's nothing wrong with real raw emotion, because your body is probably releasing itself in order for your nervous system to recalibrate. So when you see this episode, don't worry about me. I'm good. I just woke up super early in the morning, knew I needed to record, and I got straight to it for you. For you watching this, for you checking this out. And yeah, man, that is a little bit of an understanding of there's a halo above your head. And once again, my name is Nimbus, aka Flying Nimbus, aka the Cloud Man, aka Nimbino. And thank you for tuning into another episode of What is the Love Above? Peace be with you.